function as our main level. Click here to go to part 6. So let's go to part 6. Click the Scenes tab in the back dashboard and then click the dotted line to create a new scene. Okay, so this game, okay, we'll click that line. You'll hit a button and you'll get a dialog box pop up that lets you set some basic parameters for your scene. So we'll call this level 1. Level 1. We've got size. So we'll use a tile and width height as shown in pixels, or in this case we're using tiles, and we'll use the default values as shown. So it's 20 tiles wide, 15 tiles high, and each tile width is 32 pixels. So you can kind of work these things out. And here's our scene. So we'll create that. There it is. To keep things simple, we're only going to add the background image we imported earlier rather than add any tiles. Click the background tab to choose one. Alright, okay, where's that background? Here we go. And we click on the plus button here, and there's our background, so we're going to click that and press OK. Click on the scene button along the top bar and then press show background button in the upper right editor. Which is that one. No, if the background doesn't show up when you click the button, try saving your game. There we go. So there you go. So if you were wondering why things weren't working, try saving your game and it might appear. We've got our scene, so let's test it. Press the green test scene button and you should see the scene appear in your browser. Test scene. Okay, so there it is. Okay, well that's done. If the scene appears, everything is working and you can move ahead. If not, you need to get help by clicking on the Need Help button and choosing an option in the dialog box that pops up. Let's keep going. Click the Actors tab in the Scene Editor in the palette on the right and you should see these actor types that you created earlier. So let's pop over here. So we've got our ship, we've got our enemy, and we've got our bullets. Now we're going to place individual actors in the scene, and you must use the pencil tool on the left as shown to place the actors, which is this tool over here. Okay. So we want to place individual actors in the scene. With the ship selected, move your cursor over the bottom of the scene and left click. The ship will appear. Well, there it is. So if you select it, it'll appear. So select that with our pencil tool appeared, and we'll pop our ship in there. Bink. Okay, so you just click it once and it'll kind of stamp it into the scene. To place actors at even intervals, hold down the Shift key, which will align the actor with the tile grid, and make sure that the grid appears by pressing the Show Grid button. Well, where's the Show Grid button? Is that up here? Look at that. Cool. How do you delete them if you've made a mistake? I wonder. Is there any tools over here that's going to help? Insert column, insert smooth. Maybe I'll undo that. Here we go. So I'm going to press the Shift button, and you can kind of see him sticking to bits. Let's put him there. Okay. Next, select the enemy ship. Got you. And place a few in the scene as shown, and we'll use the Shift key to space them evenly. Okay, so we'll press Shift. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. If any of your actors don't appear on the screen, even though you place them in the scene, make sure you check the game's window in the viewport settings. Its width should be 640 and its height should be 480. The viewport settings, where are they?
They're on your right.
Click the settings. Right, settings.
You're right, there it is.
Settings. Oh, here. Alright, and viewport, which is this thing here, I think. Alright, we can put a game logo in there as well. Okay. And display. Let's just do that again. So look at display. It hasn't really got display. It's got screen size. But anyway, okay. Now they have the basic complete scene. Make sure it works via the test scene button again. So it's going to press this. Nice. So that's working very nicely. So that's all. And even the animation is working automatically. Look at that. Brilliant.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we've got our actors, we've got our scene set up, and now it's time to start learning how to use Stencyl's design mode. To start with, we're going to add background music to our scene. Let's go to part 7. Part 7, adding background music to a scene. Now we need to add background music. Click on the Events tab, which will bring up Stencil 2's design mode. Hang on a sec. Click on the Events tab. Events. Events. Ah, in the scene. There. Just completely ignored it. Right, so step 43. Click the plus add event. Okay. So we're going to click here. We're going to add an event. And we've got something that says basic. Oh my goodness. So this is the start of the code. So events are like code, and we're gonna be giving our actors some behaviors. So let's just read through it first. Move your mouse over the basics option and then choose and click on when creating event. Okay. So basics, and we're going to create when creating. Okay, here we go. The following should appear. That's it. When created hammer. Go to the design mode palette on the right and click the sound button. Okay. So maybe this is when created. I wonder what that means. So it says here, underneath the bottom, it says when you roll over it, it says happens once when this behavior is initialized. So this is like when the first time this program is run, when it's first created, the first time, it will do whatever is in this little box here. So what it'll do, hopefully, is it will start to play the music. So let's have a look, see what. So we're going to go to sound over here.
I know what music you should have.
Yeah. So and we're going to just say can we just click and drag? So we click and drag and lock it in, and it says when created, when this program first starts, play, and we're going to say sound. Okay. Well, what kind of sound? And we're going to choose sound. Choose sound. Aha. Right. Okay. And it's going to be the... Okay, so we're going to play the general shooter spacey level. Okay, so we've done this. So we've when it's first initialized, play the general shooter spacey level. Save your game. Got you. And then press the green test scene button. The music should be playing in the background. Let's test the scene. It is. Perfect. Okay. And now the reason for this is that this bit of program is inside the scene. Okay, so whenever the scene loads, it loads this event, and this event is some code that says when I am created, start playing this piece of music, and then it stops. Okay. So we'll get to use the explosion sound effects when we uploaded earlier, and when we handle the destroying of enemy ships. And now it's time to move on to an event that will let the player move the ship using keyboard keys. Okay, good. So it's gone to part 8. Okay, so part 8, making the ship move. Click on the dashboard tab. Done. Then click on actor types. Done. And then select our ship actor type. Okay, and now we'll double click it. There we go. This will bring up the design mode again. So we can click on the events, and we're going to create an event that will allow us to move our ship actor in the scene from left to right by pressing the keyboard keys. To do this, we need to specify what happens when the player presses certain keyboard keys and what happens when the player isn't pressing anything. Excellent. To start, click the plus add event button in the events pane on the left. So we're going to add event, and then choose when updating from the 3 options shown. So when updating, okay, we get an always. And if we go on here, this happens for every frame of the game. So what happens every time the game is played, every frame of the game that is run, and the game it may be running at 60 frames a second, this will loop through whatever instructions are inside here at 60 times a second, I suspect. Maybe it's less, but I think it's 60 times. The following block will appear. Okay, so we've got that. This time, rather than dragging the block over from the palette, we're going to use the block picker. So right click anywhere in the work area, mouse over the block, mouse over the place a block option, and then flow category. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we can right click, place a block, flow. Oh, look at this, brilliant. And we're going to do if. Excellent. And then we'll just chuck if in there. Okay. So snaps the block always block. Okay. Now we're going to need to select the right block to go inside the hexagonal field in our if block. Click the hexagonal field. Have we got a cut? Oh my goodness, that's excellent.
Worked out.
So if I'm going to put an input, if mouse is down, what do I do here? So now click the hexagonal field, mouse over the input category, and then choose the control is down block. Right. Okay. The control block will appear in the block. If control is down, okay. If control is down, the always block checks what happens every frame while the game is running. If the block inside checks using a boolean, and a boolean is like, is it true or false? Okay. So if it's false, it won't do anything. If it's true, if the control is down, then it'll do something, whatever's in there. So let's find out what that truth is. And our control block is down. It text where the control key is pressed. Right. Now we need to choose which control key to check. Click the control drop down on the block and select choose control. Excellent. So I'm going to choose control. And we're going to click right. So this is the right arrow key, I suspect. Choose control. Okay. Again, the block will change to reflect the choice. And next go to the actor motion category in the palette and select set X speed to 0 for self block. Oh my goodness me. Go to the actor motion category. So actor motion, which is down here. And we need to set X speed of self, which is this one here. So I'm going to just push that in here. The block will control how quickly our ship actor can move horizontally. Drag it over the work area and snap it into the block. Okay. We've got some. We could just put a 0 in there. For the time being. Although, you know, well, we'll see. We'll see. We might have to do some maths. Now we need to create an attribute that we can use to adjust the value of for X speed. Exactly. By doing this, we won't need to change the speed value directly on the block in our event every time we want to do so. Click the attribute button on the palette and then click the create an attribute button. Okay, so that's attributes over here. An attribute is like a variable, I suspect. So we're going to create an attribute. And we're going to call this one ship speed. Ship speed. Okay. In the dialog box, select that. Press OK. Oh, we need it to be a number. So it's not an actor, it's not any of these things, so it's a number. Now you've got a blue block. Oh, I see. That is a number. And we can chuck that attribute Okay. Now you've got a blue block for the ship speed attribute, and you can set different value. It can be set to different values. We'll show you how to set its value when we complete this event. The next thing to do, click on the field in the set x speed to self block select attribute. Alright, okay. Think. So we can attach it by going there. I wonder if you could drag it over. Or you could drag it in. Okay. How do we remove? Thank you. So right click will remove it. So we can add the ship speed. So set x speed to whatever the ship speed's going to be for the self. Okay, and the self is obviously
it should be 9,
the ship.
9, 9, it should. That's how fast it should go.
9 is a good idea.
9, 9 speed.
Yeah, really fast. As you would expect,
Yeah,
the
so
block.
I can run away from the alien.
Yes, zip away. Next, we're going to go to flow. Conditional category in the palette and drag the otherwise if block over the work area. Oh, okay. Flow. Otherwise if. I'm going to put that underneath there. I'm going to chuck it underneath here. So, okay. So if the right button is down, otherwise if, and we're going to do input. Control, choose control, we're going to have a left, okay, is down. I wonder if I can, no, I wanted to just duplicate that. Duplicate, there we go, chuck that in there. And we're going to change the ship speed. We're going to have something. We're going to have to reverse it. So it says here. Now we need to set up what happens when the user presses the left key. Grab another control block, set it to left, and add a negate block under numbers and text. Numbers and text. Negate. Dink. So I'll just chuck that into there, pop that into there, and put that into there. Got you. So negate obviously means the. What does it mean? The other way? By applying the negative of the ship speed, right, the ship will move in the negative x direction, which means to the left. And now our ship can move, but it won't stop when the player lets go of a key. We need to ensure that that happens. Drag over and snap another otherwise if block below the otherwise if block shown previously. Goodness me. Okay, so
That's a long word.
it's loads, isn't it? So we're going to flow, and we'll chuck this underneath here, and we need to add two conditions. Otherwise, if, and we'll add these two conditions here. So it's an and an and. Okay. So what does it say here? Now our ship can move, but it won't stop. The empty exile field on the and an and block. Click on the empty left field and select comparison from the dialog, and then not. Okay. Do this for each field. Okay, so we're going to do comparison, not. Comparison. Whoa, this is tricky. Not. Okay. This is clicking these things. I wonder if we can just go in here. So. Okay. Whoa! Oh, back. Okay, so that is there, and we want to put the input down there. So we put that one as choose control, which is right. Okay, and we'll choose control, which is left. So all this does is, if the right button is down, move it right. Otherwise, if the left button is down, move it left. Otherwise, if the right button is not down and the left button is not down, then do what? Grab the set X speed to the self block. We'll put that in there. I gotcha. So we'll go to where's that again? Factors. Okay, so it's here. So chuck that in there and set that to 0, because obviously you want it to stop. So if you're not pressing anything, you're not going to be moving anywhere, and this will stop you. So when you're not pressing anything, otherwise what happens is if you've pressed this button, Well, it is down. Was pressed, was released. Anyway, we'll see about that. We'll see. Okay, so let's grab the set X speed. I suppose the X speed, because we're using a variable, will move our thing forever. Grab the set X speed for the cell block. Okay, we've done that. The last thing we need to do is set the ship speed value. Click on the attributes tab at the bottom of the palette. Set the ship speed value. Okay, attributes here, which is over here. And here we go. So it says set the attribute value to 20, which is this thing here. So it's selected up here. You can lift this up here, and we need to. We'll go out of the description, but we're going to add it as 20 there. Okay. Test the game to make sure the ship moves from left to right and stops when you let go of a key. Right. Oh. Test the scene. Okay. Test scene. Left and right. Done it. Look at that. Moving left and right. We'll move off the... Yeah. We have moved completely off the edge of the scene, which is a bit odd. But anyway, there you go. Cool.